So, I thought I'd tell you about the time I almost had my own TV show, my own reality TV show. But first, I have been interviewed for a few shows in the past, but none of them came to fruition, unfortunately. I had sent in a interview video for Canadian Pickers, which is also called Cash Cowboys in the U.S. and other countries. But yeah, that didn't come to fruition because they had already cast their characters or their hosts. So that didn't go through. They were impressed apparently with the video, but yeah, they'd already cast it. So much for that. I did own CanadianPickers.com at the time as well, because I had planned to do some other stuff, but they had apparently put out the casting call before I had paid for the website name. So I ended up getting a lawyer's letter saying that I was squatting on the name, or had legally acquired the name or something to that effect. But that got settled because, as it turned out, a friend of ours is the niece of the owner of Cineflix. So that was the company that owns the rights to Canadian Pickers, American Pickers, etc. So that got settled fairly readily. I settled for a grand total of $1,000. Gave them the website name for that amount. I should have held out for more. They turned it into kind of a auction website, and that fell apart and just it didn't fly. And now the website name is in the hands of some offshore outfit, so can't get it back even. Would have liked to have kept the name and used it for my purposes, but oh well. Anyway, yeah. So I have interviewed for other shows as well, but nothing has come up. Nothing's gotten that far, or very little has gotten that far. However, and I suppose I should tell you one thing first. There's basically two kinds of productions that the networks run. Some of the productions are first created by production companies, these smaller companies, companies that are smaller than the broadcast networks, and they'll create them obviously a lot cheaper than the networks will put in. The networks tend to put in a lot of money into their productions, whereas the smaller production companies don't spend the same kind of money that the networks do. So keep that in mind. And I had interviewed for my own show. I basically, one of the things I do is treasure hunting or doing research on historical things. And I had a lead that was basically on or for Viking artifacts in Canada here, which would change a lot of history, actually, a lot of written history. Vikings did travel through Canada, through Hudson's Bay and down through the river systems and such. It's disputed by some archaeologists, but there is physical evidence of that already. But it's just not really well published and well known. Ansta Meadows obviously is the main one, but they did travel through Canada as well, or other parts of Canada, and did explore Canada and left traces of being here. Anyway, so I had a lead on some Viking artifacts in a cave somewhere in the wilderness area, or a wilderness area of Manitoba. Now, basically, I did a video interview with a casting agent who was looking for treasure hunters or that type of topic. And we did one, or what they call a sizzle reel, for NBC, actually. And it wasn't for a small production company, it was actually for NBC. So, what they ended up saying is, what would you do after doing, well, I did 3 or 4 interviews, actually. I think the 4th was a sizzle reel. And it went to the bigwigs. Apparently, they were impressed. They liked it. They wanted to hear more. They wanted to know what my team was, etc. And they were saying, well, what would you do with a camera crew and $50,000? So that's where it went. They were still impressed with it and everything. But apparently they decided to go a different direction with the programming that year, and it didn't go. So it just stalled. So I came this close, I guess you could say, to getting my own show. But yeah, so that project's still on hold right now. I haven't done anything with it. I need kind of a bit of a crew to follow this up. I need a wilderness guide. I need somebody that knows how to operate and run the drones. I need access to somebody that knows how to operate a drone well. And yeah, and just general assistance in the search for these items. Yeah. So anyway, the items are around. I do have leads on various historical objects, but nothing has come of them yet because I need to spend the time dedicated to that, and I've got to make a living meanwhile somehow. So I'm obviously doing my business here, but maybe when I get retired, not that that'll ever happen, but yeah, at some point I would like to pursue these a little further, but I'm not getting any younger, so I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But anyway, I have done some old videos on these topics, so you may want to check those out. Treasure Leads in Manitoba, or I think they're under that title or something like that. Anyway, if you do a search for treasure on my YouTube, you should have some of those pop up. Anyway, so yeah, I almost had my own TV show. So, but it didn't happen, which is pretty much par for the course, I suppose. There's lots and lots and lots of these interviews done with various people to do these shows, and only a small percentage ever come to fruition. So anyway, so that's my brush with being famous, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and check out our other videos on antiquing, picking, thrifting, scrapping, etc. Take care, folks.